Good afternoon, everybody. It's the Truth Serum. Happy New Year. If you're new, just showing up and I haven't said it, Happy New Year to the new ones, the new people, and thank you for coming in here. And I really do appreciate your support. Mike Franzese, I think he's becoming a stand-up comic. It's hilarious. He says, I got the thing here. My buddy sent it to me. He's so condescending to his people. How come he's always saying, now listen? What does he think? People are imbeciles? They're watching you, Mike. They're watching you. Hey, Carmela. Okay, here's our good friend. Here's the megalomaniac. There's our megalomaniac, folks. Are you ready?
Please pay attention now.
Wait.
Please pay attention now. In my former. Please pay attention now. In my former.
Please pay attention now. Right out of the gate. Right out of the gate. Please pay attention now. Yeah, I remember the unknown comic from the Gong Show. Right out of the gate, here's Mike Franzese. My former life. What do you mean your former life? This guy's so scripted. Please pay attention now. In my former life. You were an accountant in the mob. Don't make it sound like some covert FBI thing. Now let's continue, my good people.
People would say, were you afraid of Roy DeMeo? Were you afraid of Sammy Gravano? Were you afraid of these guys? What did I have to fear? I'm a made guy. If Sammy was mad at me or Roy DeMeo was mad at me, we're not going in the ring to fight, okay? We're not going to go and have a duel in the middle of the street. If somebody...
What do I have to fear, he says. Hey, Mike Amari, Carmela. He says, Roy DeMeo, you weren't afraid of Roy DeMeo? He says, well, we're not going to go in a ring and fight. No, he's going to chop you up into pieces. That's what he's going to do. He's telling the viewers, now listen, I have nothing to fear. I'm a made guy. Well, made men everybody that got killed was mostly made men. He thinks the viewers are stupid. He communicates to the viewers like they're 9 years old. And he's insulting people's intelligence. You could fear there's being careful. If you're in the mob, there's being careful about things because you're being careful because you fear getting hit. This guy's just the golden boy. This guy is the best. He's the best.
He gets an order to kill another guy in that life. They're not going to know about it. You're not going to telegraph it. You got to understand something. Made guys don't fear one another. You might fear your boss because he's got the power of life and death over you. But anybody else from another crew, another family, you're not in fear of these people because you don't have to be.
Really?
Please pay attention now.
Please pay attention now. You hear this guy? You hear this guy?
Were you afraid of Roy DeMeo? Were you afraid of Sammy Gravano? Were you afraid of these guys? What did I have to fear?
Now he brings up all the he brings up all the known guys. He brings up like Sammy the Bull, the publicized guys. He's going, what do I have to fear? Well, what do you mean? Hey, Mr. Breeder. Good morning, Mike and Chris Breeder. How can you just say, well, how come, Mike, you stayed in a hole for the most part in New York with security all over the place, and now you're out in a fortress out in California while you're painting this picture that, what do I have to fear? We were made men. Made men got whacked. Your Billies and Sallys, your viewers, I think you educated them, and the people that got hit were made. So Mike says, I was a made man. Well, the only one I feared was the boss. The boss could order the hit. Well, he's speaking in circles. Completely speaking in circles. Wow. This guy is unbelievable. This guy is a megalomaniac / stand-up comic. He's becoming a stand-up comic, Mike Franzese. Literally a stand-up comic. Let's watch the rest of this clown show. Tommy Stig Social Club, an absolute clown. Out of touch. Good morning, Tommy. Thank you.
Well, Roy DeMeo is mad at me. We're not going in the ring to fight, okay? We're not going to go and have a duel in the middle of the street.
Roy DeMeo, he actually says, Roy DeMeo, he brings up the most publicized psycho in this mafia soap opera. Deliberately. He deliberately picks. This is well orchestrated by him. Because if the mob soap opera and the viewers watch, maybe they heard, this butcher that chops people up. Well, Mike Franzese says, I would never, Sammy the Bull, Roy DeMeo. I give him credit, A+ for being the conductor of an orchestra. Why doesn't he just be honest? Every year that goes by, he becomes more is he getting Stu Knots? Please forgive me, because maybe I'm getting a little Stu Knots, but maybe he is. Maybe he is. Here's a guy that ran and hid from everything known to mankind. And what's he say? What did I have to fear? I was a made man. So no made men got hit, Mike Franzese. No, in the history of the mob, no made men got hit. Holy cow. Yeah, Tommy Stig Social Club. Him and in my former life. You were an accountant for the Colombos. You were an accountant in my former life. Like, what is this former life he's talking about? Hey, Jim, this guy's talking about some former life. Is this excuse me, is this like a riddle from the oracles, when you're walking down the path and the oracles, they come with a riddle, and hey, there was a guy that had a former life. Who is this said guy? Well, they call him Mike Franzese, and he had a former life. Well, let's look into it. What is this? Come on. Yeah. Tommy Stig Social Club says he might not have feared death. That's different. He's bots. Now listen, in Mike Francese's defense, because I like to look at thank you, Tommy. I like to look at everything. There's guys that just rock and rolled out there that had no fear. They had no fear. But they feared if they got whacked, their family. I fear if my wife and children, I'm not there for them. I fear that my mommy, my daddy will mourn for me. They could be a renegade rock and roll Rambo all day long, but they're still humans. Even monsters are. Even monsters are. I knew some monsters. But Mike Franzese, the accountant, who drinks his wine like this, had no fear. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying your cookies. I'm not buying your trinkets. I'm not buying your cruise. I'm not buying your pizza from some vending machine or whatever scheme he's got coming up this week. It's totally insane. Come on, Mike. Just tell the. You see, this is now. Let's get cerebral here. Let's get cerebral here. This is his thinking after the Joey Merlino confrontation. This is it, because in his mind, he's the author of the mob history. He's the mob of the historical account. And Joey Merlino come in and ruffled his feathers. He knows what the DNA of Joey Merlino. He knows the DNA of Joey Merlino. So Joey Merlino comes in, ruffles his feathers a little bit, and here he comes. I don't fear anything. Are you listening, Joe Merlino? I don't fear anything. Really? Really? Go walk the streets of Brooklyn. Go walk this by yourself. Go walk the streets, Mr. No Fear. There's a nice delicatessen that you used to frequent. Why don't you go there? The guy's 90 years old. He'd like to see you. Yeah, I mean, your culture is California. California dreaming. The mamas and the papas. California dreaming. Californication. Red Hot Chili Peppers. Going to California. Led Zeppelin. That's you now. No more Frank Sinatra. New York, New York. No more. No more. Stay in that fortress over there like a petrified little rabbit. Okay? You're doing stand-up comedy now, Mike. You're actually doing, and when you bring that bum, Chaz Palminteri, on your show, it's even worse. It's even worse. Yeah, my friend showed me this. Let's give it a run. My producer just said, run that back, Joe. Where is he? Where is he? Now listen, get your credit card out. It's going to cost you.
Please pay attention.
Please pay attention.
In my former life, people would say, were you afraid of Roy DeMeo? Were you afraid of Sammy Gravano? Were you afraid of these guys? What did I have to fear? I'm a made guy. If Sammy was mad at me or if Roy DeMeo was mad at me, we're not going in the ring to fight, okay? We're not going to go and have a duel in the middle of the street. If somebody gets an order to kill another guy in that life, they're not going to know about it. You're not going to telegraph it. You got to understand something. Made guys don't fear one another. You might fear your boss because he's got the power of
really, Mike?
Over you. But anybody else from another crew, another family, you're not in fear of these people because you don't have to be. Please pay attention now. In my former life, people would say, you afraid of Roy DeMeo?
It's only a 1 minute.
Were you afraid of shit?
It's only a 1 minute video. It's only a 1 minute video. There's nobody in his Hollywood production team. Those brown noses. There's nobody in that production team because they want to get a paycheck. Nobody said, "Listen, Mike, that's probably not a good idea to do that video," because even a Joe Blow schmuck would be able to perceive that and say, Mike, it's just everybody has the emotion of fear in them just in everyday life or however. But then when you raise the ante up in the mob, yeah. What about the wars? Everybody's running around crazy. Yeah, you fear for self because we want self-preservation and we want longevity in our life to enjoy our life, our likes, our quality of life, our family. Of course you're going to fear things. He just says across the board, no, I never feared anything in my former life. I didn't fear Mickey C, Roy D, some other psychos out there. Jimmy M. There's two. You didn't fear. You could only pay off so many people, but there was still, what, you didn't fear anybody. Why? Because you paid them all off, Mike? Then you slept good at night? Then you run for that scum state? Hey, Lance 33. Happy New Year to all you people. But this is the soap opera. And I wanted to get some jabs in. Because you know what? I don't care anymore. I said I wasn't going to do it. But you know what? Jump in. The water's fine. And, I don't care whose side the people are on. I mean, I wouldn't be against. Because I've had friends that we've been in disagreement with. And we'll talk smack to each other. And then still be friends. Not like little girls. Oh, you said this to me. We'll never talk again. Oh, you said this to me. How dare you? No, I'm a big boy. You could talk smack to me and I could give it back. And then we could still go to the racetrack together. But like him, he's so like little girlish with his little whine. And he's so little girlish that he wouldn't be open to that. He would say, I don't remember you. You would remember me. You'd remember my godfather too. And I'd say, Mike, listen, all things aside, Mike, I know it's a soap opera, but you're starting to embarrass yourself. Don't you have any producers or directors to tell you to take your content in another direction? Now, okay, let's just get this established. You want to go to the racetrack, but number one, as far as your YouTube channel goes, Mike, it's hilarious. You're full of shit, and you talk condescending down to your people, and you're so greedy. But if that's what it takes, I guess you know the formula better than me because you got 1 million subscribers and I got 400. But at the end of the day, I'm better than him. I'm better than him. Give me all that bells and whistles with fancy videos and fancy pictures. I'd be a better thespian than him on stage. I'd be a better communicator than him. I do this. I fly by the seat of my pants because I'm that good. A little immature too, but we like to have fun here. I'm a natural. He's a bullshitter that's got a Hollywood production team. That's what he's got. I got 500 subscribers, getting censored, getting kicked out, technical problems. I don't have a stage or a studio. I don't even have an introduction. You know what my introduction is? Are we on? Are we on? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. But some people like the natural ice cream, You get the natural ice cream. And some people like processed ice cream. I'm the natural. So I have a select audience that justifies my lower numbers. Lance 33, Tommy Stiggs, Carmela. I'm just a guy that likes to have fun. And Mike Amari, I know you're in there. You were in there. But I'm just a guy that likes to have fun. Mike Franzese thinks all these people have died off. And no. I'll tell you one thing. And this is the truth serum. I might have held back on him if he announced making big charitable donations. I'm analyzing my psychological thinking because I've always been for the underdog, for love and compassion, to help people that need something, especially homeless people. He's in California. The homeless are getting closer and closer to that fortress of his. He does not once go out and do anything charitable for the downtrodden. While you were in that solitary confinement that you claim to be, Mike Franzese, And all you had in this dramatic story, I was in solitary confinement, and all I had was the Holy Bible. Remember that story? Remember that? Well, if you read that Bible, Mike, and you're a Christian, well, now you got the Church of Mike. If you read that Holy Bible, Mike, and in the New Testament, and you read about Jesus Christ, well, how did Jesus Christ roll? He went to the downtrodden. He went to the temple and turned over the money changers, and when they were selling their wares. Now you got the Church of Mike, and you're selling your garbage. So while you're so spiritual with your religiosity and all that, why don't you practice what you preach? With all that money, and now you open up this Church of Mike to manipulate taxes, of course, because this guy needs every penny. Why don't you demonstrate that? So that's why I get on here and I bash him. At the end of the day, the soap opera, whatever, who said this and he didn't fear and all that. Yeah, that's all right, but that's why that's in analyzing myself. It's because I would just probably let off the gas pedal if I knew he was more charitable. 10,000 for a shitty cruise, $500 for a bottle of that piss water you're selling. It's garbage. You're selling garbage. Why don't you get your high-priced Hollywood production team, Mike, and go get a semi-truck, fill it up with jackets and anything else someone might need, like Joey Merlino. What'd you do for Thanksgiving, Mike, for the people? What'd you do for Christmas for the people? The real Italians did things for the people, for the community. The real Italians, whether they were mafia Italians or just regular civilians, they did things. A lot of classy Italians out there. You're a bum. You were an accountant bum back then. Joey Merlino is right. All the wise guys are right. The old timers watch your videos and they laugh. They laugh. Jojo, why is he always talking down to them? Because Rick, because he thinks people are stupid. That's why. Oh, he deserves a slap in the face. Well, of course he deserves a slap in the face, talking condescending down to his people. He's sitting on $1 billion. That's why he's cocky like that. But he never feared anything. No, Michael Franzese never feared anything. He didn't fear Roy DeMeo. He didn't fear my godfather. No, he didn't fear anybody. No, he didn't fear anybody. He didn't fear Sammy the Bull Gravano. He might not have feared. He feared something. He feared somebody. Just for the fact that you have to be careful in that life, like him in that life, for the fact that you have to be careful in that life is fear-driven. It's fear-driven that you have to be careful. Otherwise, you wouldn't be careful. You'd just be out rocking and rolling with a bullseye on your back. Hey, Dom, how is it going? You would just be rocking and rolling. Psychologically speaking, if you have to be careful about something, it's because you fear it. If you're walking a tightrope over the river, you got to be careful because you fear falling in. I should be charging you guys for this stuff. That's it, folks. How do I always leave you? How do I always leave you? That's it, folks. How do I always leave you? Get your credit card out, bend over, and let Rover take over. That's how you always leave your folks, Mike. Bend over and let Rover take over. That's how you leave your people. You guys like that one? You guys like that one? Unscripted. unscripted. I like to have fun. I like to have fun. It's a soap opera and everything else. It's a soap opera. And the more bullcrap Mike Franzese comes out with, there's other lies he can tell. There's other lies he could tell. But nobody in his team said, Mike, don't do that. Don't do that. If he had all the shine on him, he's losing his shine. For what reason? I don't know. I hope he doesn't think the viewers are just that stupid. If he talked that way with this now listen bullcrap, now listen, you think if he went in a room, this accountant, with the real captains and the real soldiers, and he sat down around these guys, and he always says this now listen. They would say, hey, listen, Mike, you better slow down with that. Now listen. Now start over, Mike. Go back and walk. Go start over. But don't keep continually using that now listen. And because everything was a sit down with him. You'd be stuck, Carmela Falco. You'd be stuck on a boat with this megalomaniac all the way to Cuba. You'd end up in a straitjacket by the time you made it to Cuba. You'd be in a straitjacket with him. Then what's he decide to do? You want to drag your wife in tow when you got to entertain 150 people that pay $10,000? Who's going to entertain the people? What are you going to do with your wife and whoever you're bringing? You turn in a vacation trip because you're so tight, you little miser. You're so tight. You're very, very tight. And you wanted to just take a trip to Cuba, and you wanted to devise a plan to make money on it. You couldn't just say, come on, honey and kids, let's go have fun in Cuba. No. Now listen, folks, get your credit cards out. We're going to go to Cuba. It's going to cost you $10,000 to follow me around. Wow. He's that bent? The guy's that bent? Do you think, Mike, behind your back, I'm guessing, maybe your wife might have said, holy cow, can't we just go alone? So do I got to sit in the hotel room while you're entertaining 150 people? When are we going to have our time? When are we going to have our time, honey? We can't just take a trip on our own fruition, but you're selling cigars and everything else? Tommy says, Olive Joy Merlino's subs, as well as a bunch of knockaround guys, should go on the cruise for a goof. Oh, yeah, and then have their cell phones and videotaping it, and then come back to the States and show it all. It might be a sitcom. You could probably get enough material for a 10-week sitcom. Carmelo says, entertain, LOL. Is he going to sing and dance? He might as well. He might as well turn it into a cabaret. Philly Bob. Hey, how's it going, bud? Philly Bob. I'm aggravated, Philly, because Mike Franzese got up there and says, I never feared anything. He's making the real legitimate mob look stupid. Just stupid. 500 people wearing skinny apparel on the cruise. I don't know. But I've been told a big leg woman ain't got no soul. Zeppelin. So, yeah. Joey Merlino touched a nerve with him in his mind, and this is some kind of post-trauma video from Mike, Led Zeppelin. This is some post-trauma PTSD from a month ago when Joey Merlino told him he was a bum or whatever with the proffer and all that, and called him a rat. So this is Mike trying to show that I'm still #1 YouTube mobster soap opera and I don't fear anything. So in case you folks out there think that I got ruffled by Joey Merlino, I didn't, because I don't fear anything. So that's the psychology of that. That's the psychology of why he gets up there and says that. Hey, Kevin, how's it going? Hey, he says, hi, it's Mr. Slurp. Hey, just for that. It's like, thank you. So that was on his mind. That was on his mind, that, the fallout, because Joey Merlino punked him. Go have one of your sit-downs. You talk about sit-downs, Mike Franzese. All these sit-downs. Well, now there's some controversy. Don't you need a sit-down? What are you doing with that bum, Chaz Palminteri, drinking wine like a girl for? Is that your sit-down with some Hollywood bum? Is that your sit-down? Why don't you have a straight-up man-to-man and call Joey Merlino direct, without using a secretary, and say, hey, Joey, you want to do a show? We'll get 10 million views. Man to man. You're always talking sit downs, Mike. Well, here's a chance for a sit down. So come on. No, it's Mike's way. It's Mike's historical account, and that's the only way it will be. Here's a guy that never feared anything. You weren't in fear when you were handing that money out, trying to spare your life, so you didn't get hit. You didn't have fear when you got all that tax money. You weren't in fear. Then if you weren't in fear, why were you handing all those packages out in envelopes? So you didn't get kidnapped? You weren't in fear back then? So you just felt like handing out all that payola to various people in various positions in different families? You just did that because it was Christmas time and you just thought these people should get a package of money? Or did you do it because you figured they're going to come after you and they want to know where all that money is sitting, and things could get derailed off the rails real quick? But you didn't fear that. And you didn't fear Roy DeMeo either. You didn't fear the Persicos either. You didn't fear the Persicos? Really? Or Gene? You didn't fear them? Or Mickey? You didn't fear them. You didn't fear them. This guy's just a clown. I can't take the pressure anymore, folks. I can't take the pressure. I thank you guys. Start off the new year good. I played that. Here, we got to run it back for Lance, Philly, Bob. These good people come in here. At least I'm interpersonal with you folks.
Please pay attention now. In my former life, people would say, were you afraid of Roy DeMeo? Were you afraid of Sammy Gravano? Were you afraid of these guys? What did I have to fear? I'm a made guy. If Sammy was mad at me, or if Roy DeMeo was mad at me, we're not going in the ring to fight, okay? We're not going to go and have a duel in the middle of the street. If somebody gets an order to kill another guy in that life, they're not going to know about it. You're not going to telegraph it. You got to understand something. Made guys don't fear one another.
Really?
You might fear your boss.
Really?
He's got the power of life and death over you.
Really?
But anybody else from another crew, another family,
no fear.
You're not in fear of these people.
Really?
Because you don't have to be.
Really?
Please pay attention now.
Please pay attention now. You hear him? Please pay attention now. You hear what this clown just said? Biggest mob YouTube channel. Mob soap opera. Here's the guy. Maybe I'm jealous a little. Well, whether I'm jealous or not, it's irrelevant, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Here's a guy that's the big mob guy for YouTube. Anybody with any kind of thinking apparatus that just doesn't know anything about the mafia or anything else, they could say the guy's full of crap. You don't even need any schema of knowledge of who's what the characters are of this big soap opera. You just say, what's this guy talking about? No fear. It's an innate emotion. He was in so much fear, they should have put a diaper on this guy. And then he's like, I was a made man. Now, Carmela, thank you, because I want to reiterate that. He says he wasn't in fear because he was a made man. So that makes you bulletproof, huh, Mike? You didn't teach your viewers anything more? Because what did you do? What you taught your viewers that if you're a made man, you're bulletproof and you're exempt from any hits? This guy's slacking. This Mike Franzese is slacking. Not afraid because you're made. Okay, tell that to Paul Castellano. Tell that to all the thousands of other people that were made men. What about the wars? There were wars, Mike. Oh, man. I can't even say what I want to say on here. Believe me, I can't even say what I want to say here because I could only say so much on here. And I got to leave it like that because I don't want to be a nut. I want to have fun and I want to laugh. But I could hear the people rolling in their graves. And I gotta and the old timers, they think this guy's a stand-up comic. This Mike Franzese. They say, Jojo, show us another one. Before they didn't like it. They're like, Jojo, show us another one. They get a good laugh off of him. So boy, this Mike, what a tough guy he is. Look at his pictures. Go Google his pictures from the 80s. Google his pictures. He looks like Pee Wee Herman. Google his pictures. It's Pee Wee Herman, Mr. No Fear. He looks like Pee Wee Herman. He looks like a pencil neck. I can't say what I want to say, but that's all. Philly Bob, Kevin Flack, thanks for coming in here. Lance 33, good to see you. Tommy Stiggs, Social Club, thank you. Carmela, thank you, of course, always. I appreciate you guys. Michael Amari, thank you. You know, Chris Breeder, thank you. Does Mike Franzese go through the comments and thank his people? Does Mike Franzese do that? He's a bum. All I ask for, which nobody listens anyways, is buy my book. Nobody listens anyways. Just come in here and join me and we could shoot the breeze. Forget about the book. Here it is. Now listen, Billy and Sally, go buy the book. They dead miss. Now listen. You'll read in there that I didn't fear anything. I was getting an ulcer. It felt like I was getting an ulcer. Thank you, Carmela. She was the one that bought the book. Thank you. So, did you like the book, Carmela? Give an honest critique. I'm a big boy. Remember Cable Guy? I'm a big boy. So, that's Mob Tube Soap Opera. And honestly, I'm part of the soap opera. And oh, it comes tomorrow. All right. Thank you. Thank you. You could, if you like it or not, let the people in the comments know. That's all. Yeah. I remember Cable Guy when Jim Carrey at the end, he was like, I'm a big boy. So I wanted to put this out there and meet up with you guys, connect, and show that megalomaniac, Mike Franzese, who's obviously never had any fear of anything because he was a made man. What is he talking about? Now listen, Billy, I never feared anything because I was a made man and all I had to do is be afraid of a boss or a captain. What are you talking about? Mike, just stop doing your channel so I could get more viewers and subscribers and just ride off into the sunset, okay? You and Chaz Palminteri could get drunk on that piss water wine and you could sit on the beach. Oh no, you're afraid to go to the beach. Do you ever sit on the beach and watch the waves tumble over the sand? Bob Seger, watch the waves tumble over the sand in those Hollywood nights, in those Hollywood hills, like Bob Seger said. Go get your piss water wine with Mario Mendez. Hey, how are you, homie? My man. Go get that piss water and get that bum Chaz and go sit on the ocean beach on a beautiful and have a beautiful sunset. What are you afraid? You afraid to sit on the beach, Mike? You afraid? What are you afraid of, you little girl? Forgive me, Jesus. We want to promote love and compassion. But holy cow, somebody needs to give him a slap. Forgive me. Forgive me. But he's pissing all over the true narrative of this soap opera, which is a soap opera. He's undermining it. And he thinks he's cute because he's hiding over there. You know, there was a kid that lived another street over. He would always throw rocks and then he would run and get in his house. Before, and I was fast. I could run like the wind. But he always had it measured and he was always throwing rocks. And then he would run back into his house. That's like this weasel, Mike Franzese. He's always talking all this smack and then he hides in his fortress. But then one day my buddy caught up to the kid. He didn't make it in the house because we had a plan. We had a plan. So, all right, folks, we could go on forever. Happy New Year to you good people. And I appreciate you guys coming in here. Philly Bob, I like that name. Kevin Flack, Mario Mendez, one of my very first subscribers. Carmela, you guys are good to me. I appreciate it. You know, this isn't a big production. You guys know I appreciate it. You know, if I was a multimillionaire, I'd fly everybody to a big banquet hall and we'd just have fun and we would laugh and we'd have fun. How come this billionaire doesn't do anything like that? He wants to charge you $1,000. I'm the guy that would pay your way. Because one heart knows another heart. Heart to heart. No, not the 70s show. But that's what I would do. Show the class that these Italians had. Show the class. Not this guy begging all the time. It rubs me the wrong way because there was a lot of generous, classy Italian people that had a lot less than this bum. And it's sickening. It's sickening. You know, Joey Merlino, he tries with those drives with the turkeys and the bikes and all that. At least he's trying something. Whether anybody likes anybody's personality or mob character or whether they were a rat or not, set that aside. If a person is doing more than you as far as charity goes, then don't knock them. Whether he was a serial killer or a rat or whatever else. Today is a new day. If that person is helping out somebody less fortunate, I applaud them. Charitable people. That's the way I was brung up. And these clown gangsters that are so greedy in this marketplace soap opera, and they always got their hand out, and that's okay to make a living at it or make a profit at it. But when are you going to give something out to the streets? Counterfeit, phony, megalomaniac, bum, Mike Franzese. Have a great Friday, everybody. Just like Carmela Falco said, my charge is running out because I don't have a fancy battery pack like Mike Franzese does. So, thank you, folks. I got a story that's coming up that this captain's wife was cheating on him with a police officer. Yeah. Philly Bobby should have asked Santa for a battery pack. Well, it's enough. The video's long enough for everybody's. I got everything I need. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I got everything I need. Oh yeah, well, I could have a fancier car. Whatever. I'm happy. I don't need all that to be happy. I laugh every day, Philly Bob. I laugh and have fun every day. Yep. These guys, they want more and more and more. They're addicted to more. And they don't give anything back. They don't give anything back. Thank you, folks. Be the kings and queens of your world. It's 2024. If you got some New Year goals or resolutions, try to keep them if you can. If not, I wish you all well. Thank you. God bless you all. And subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell, and all of that stuff. If you want to help me out, buy the book, join, whatever. If you want to do that, don't be chiselers with the fish hooks in your pockets.